I love Polaroids for your wedding. My name is Sean Jorgensen. I'm a wedding photographer based in Las Vegas, and today we are talking about instant film on your wedding day. If you grew up in the late 90s / early 2000s, then you know exactly what this camera is. It's the Polaroid One Step, and your family most likely had one for vacations and family moments. Now I use them to document your wedding. As a wedding and elopement photographer, I offer add-ons to my packages that include instant film. 95% of the time, I'm using Polaroid. I'm using the Polaroid 600 original, and as of recently, I use the Polaroid Now Plus. My packages in particular, I focus on the couple and details. I don't bother taking any photos of the guests. That's way too many photos and that's too expensive. I love Polaroids for your wedding day. It's something instant and tangible that you can have at the end of the night to look back on and hold you over. Almost acts as a sneak peek. Polaroid versus Instax is a lot like Coke versus Pepsi. It really just depends on personal preference. Doesn't matter which one or the other in the grand scheme of things. I think both have their pros and cons. I use both. I use Polaroid brand and I also have a Instax Mini 90. I've always gravitated towards Polaroid. Ever since I was a little kid, I grew up around these. My parents had these, so it's just always something I was a little bit more familiar with. You can still find the Polaroid One Steps secondhand. I've actually picked up a couple of these at antique stores for under $50. Some don't always work. I mentioned this before with buying cameras and things from antique stores is kind of like buyer beware. Buy at your own risk. But if you do find a good deal, then score, right? But I have bought ones for literally $10 at the antique store. I know the Polaroid now is a little bit more expensive, and we'll get into why I have multiple in a second. Add-ons to my packages. Why can I not get this right? Oh, all right. Instax I like because the flash and the photos are just a little bit brighter than the Polaroids. This Instax Mini is actually my wife's. I don't know how it came about in my possession. Somehow it ended up in my office on my camera shelf. I think my Polaroids as a backup if the Polaroids are being shitheads. Seeing as how I have two Polaroids, I'm not going to go out and buy another Fuji full size, so I'm stuck with this for now. It's just more familiar. I love the size of the Polaroid originals. I would love to buy the Fuji wide, but I'm not going to go out and spend money on something I don't necessarily need. Now, the two Polaroids and the Instax Mini are going to have to do. The Polaroids I like better because of the color in the film tends to be a little bit more vibrant. Difference in the Polaroids is sometimes they're different colors in that some are a little more cool toned, some are a little warmer. Could be a pro, could be a con, but I like how each pack of film can be different. So do with that information as you wish. I know I have some black ones here. The Polaroids also offer fun borders like black borders, which are my personal favorite. I don't have any in this stack, but there is hearts and various themed borders. So that's always fun. The con of Polaroids for me is they are definitely more inconsistent than the Fuji. I have had a handful of packs end up blank and did not load through the camera on both the original Polaroid, which is actually the reason why I picked up the Polaroid now, was because this flash on my Polaroid One Step every couple shots was missing. So I bought a newer one that hopefully didn't have these outdated technology issues, but I found that some of the film I'll buy for the Polaroid has been blank, which is very frustrating because these are not cheap at all. The Fuji, I have yet to have any problems with any of my film, and I even have film that is probably technically expired. Polaroids or instant film for your wedding is also great for your guest book. I've had a couple of weddings where they have a few Fujis laying around with a bunch of film. Guests are snapping selfies and taking photos of candid moments and from their POV and signing cute notes. Guest book option is really cool idea, really fun. You get numerous POVs from your guest, whereas I focus on intimate moments and details between my couple. Usually just focus on the couple. I don't know if this is going to pick up. Instant photos are a great highlight for your wedding, especially if you're traveling to Vegas and you're even from out of the country. You won't be home for a couple weeks and my full wedding gallery and film won't be ready for a couple weeks. Then these are great to have to show your friends, post on Instagram story, maybe even announce it that you went to Vegas and got married. I notice I have some of these physically, but my process for instant film, I will snap a handful of photos, usually around 8 to 12, depending on what package they go with. At the end of the night, before their session, I will give them to the client, or I will let them take a photo of them or video. I will then go home, scan them into the computer. That way I have a digital copy, and then I will mail them the physical copies. So the reason why I have some of these here are either because the clients didn't order the Polaroids and I was trying to build that experience in my workflow to show off that I offered Polaroid packages, or these are clients that live here and I could ship them to. International couples, I will just give them to that night. It's going to be way too cost effective for me to mail back someone's Polaroids that lives in the UK. I will just give them their Polaroids at the night. I'll take a video or some photos for myself to have to post on socials. These three are the three I use. This is the Polaroid One Step. It's an OG from late 80s, early 90s. This is the newer one, the Polaroid Now. It has a couple features which I haven't dove into too much. I know it comes with some lens filters and whatnot. I haven't bothered to use those. It's actually cool. There's an app on your phone for this, set longer exposure. There's a couple different settings on the app. Again, another thing I haven't dove into too much. Here you have Fujifilm Instant 90, has a couple settings on the back here, flash, self-timer, couple different shooting modes, portrait, landscape, etc. Any other companies that I don't know about? Do you offer instant film as a part of your workflow? Let me know down in the comments. Let's chat. I would be curious to know if there is other brands outside of Polaroid and Fuji, whether camera-based or film-based. Let me know. Let's chat about it. The I-type film only goes in the newer cameras. The I-type is for this camera, whereas the I-type will not work for the OG 600. Polaroid 600 film is the only type of Polaroid film that'll work for this camera. So yeah, that's about it. Pretty quick rundown of me implementing instant film into my workflow, specifically my elopements and weddings. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.